Before we dive into the shadowy world of foods that disappeared forever, I want you to pause for a second and hit that subscribe button. If you're a history enthusiast or a prepper at heart, this is the kind of knowledge you'll want to return to again and again. Knowing what has vanished from our tables isn't just a curiosity. It's a lesson in sustainability, adaptation, and the fragility of our food systems. Today, we're exploring foods that vanished completely and never returned, uncovering their stories and extracting practical lessons you can apply today. Some foods disappeared because they couldn't survive human greed or changing climates. Throughout history, human consumption patterns have decimated species before anyone even realized what was happening. Take the dodo fruit, for example. The dodo bird is well known as a cautionary tale of extinction, but fewer realize the plants that depended on it for seed dispersal also disappeared. Fruits that once thrived in the Mascarene Islands vanished simply because their natural pollinators and distributors were wiped out. For a modern prepper or historian, this shows the importance of biodiversity in food planning. Preserving heirloom seeds or encouraging the cultivation of forgotten crops isn't just nostalgic, it's practical. In your own garden or community plots, consider planting multiple varieties of vegetables and fruits to hedge against unseen ecological shifts. Some vanished foods were victims of changing tastes and economies. Not all vanished foods disappeared due to ecological reasons. Many were erased by cultural shifts. In Europe, during the early 18th century, a type of wheat called grünkern was prized for its nutty flavour when harvested prematurely and dried. Over time, industrialized milling and the rise of uniform wheat strains replaced these old grains. Grünkern and similar early harvest varieties are now nearly impossible to find. For historians or prepper enthusiasts, tracking old seed banks and cultivating these forgotten grains at home can be a way to reconnect with history while securing dietary resilience. Even small-scale cultivation can provide unique nutrition options that mainstream agriculture no longer supplies. Diseases silently wiped out foods before humans noticed. Certain fruits and vegetables disappeared silently because of pathogens. The Gros Michel banana, once the dominant banana globally, fell victim to Panama disease in the mid-20th century. This fungal disease wiped out entire plantations, forcing the commercial switch to the Cavendish banana. Today's reliance on the Cavendish is a reminder that monoculture is inherently risky. For anyone interested in historical food systems or survival planning, this highlights the value of crop diversity. In practical terms, growing multiple banana cultivars or rotating crops in your garden reduces vulnerability to disease while preserving culinary heritage. Some vanished foods were lost to conquest and colonization. When empires expanded, entire regional foods were either abandoned or replaced. The sacred Aztec chinampa crops, including several varieties of small corn and squash, vanished as Spanish colonizers imposed new agricultural systems. The loss wasn't just ecological, it was cultural. Foods intertwined with local rituals, traditions, and survival strategies were erased almost entirely. For modern survivalists, this is a cautionary tale. Knowledge of local and historical crops is as important as seeds themselves. Studying old texts, botanical records, and even oral histories can reveal plants worth reviving, both for cultural preservation and for practical use in diverse diets. Some vanished foods were casualties of war and famine. Wars, especially prolonged ones, have historically caused entire foods to disappear. During World War II, several European root vegetables that were once common staples simply vanished because fields were left fallow or were commandeered for other strategic crops. Similarly, the scorzonera, a root vegetable widely eaten in France and Italy, was nearly lost because supply chains collapsed and people stopped planting it. The lesson here for preppers is to diversify food sources and keep a detailed record of edible plants, even those currently considered, well, unfashionable. Reviving forgotten crops can be a hedge against modern supply chain disruptions, just as it could have been decades ago during shortages. Some vanished foods disappeared because no one documented them properly. Countless foods vanished because no one bothered to catalogue them. In the Amazon, early European explorers noted hundreds of fruit varieties that are now either extinct or unrecognizable. Without careful records, plants die silently and permanently. For modern historians or garden enthusiasts, meticulous documentation is invaluable. Maintaining a seed library or even a photographic record of your garden crops can ensure that future generations won't lose access to varieties you've successfully cultivated. It's a practical step toward preserving biodiversity while connecting with historical knowledge. Understanding which foods vanished and why provides more than historical insight. It equips you to act. Plant a diverse garden, store seeds responsibly, explore heirloom grains, rotate crops, and study old agricultural records. Each action is a hedge against both ecological and societal disruptions. By reviving or preserving these lost foods, you participate in a living history, keeping knowledge alive that otherwise could have disappeared forever. Whether for self-reliance, survival, or pure historical interest, the lost foods of the past offer lessons we ignore at our peril. The next time you walk past a common supermarket, think about the countless crops that once existed and are now gone. The story of lost foods isn't just about extinction, it's about resilience, adaptation, and the choices humans make that shape the world. Take these lessons seriously and integrate them into your prepper strategies and historical curiosity. Start small, explore seeds from historical catalogues, and try cultivating a plant that has survived centuries against all odds. Your garden can become a miniature archive of survival and history combined. If this exploration of vanished foods has sparked your curiosity, don't forget to subscribe to The Prepper Historian and share this guide with fellow history buffs and prepper enthusiasts. There's more hidden knowledge out there waiting to be rediscovered, and together we can ensure it's never lost again.